And we're going. All right, welcome, whoever it is, to the first of hopefully many episodes of the Q Line. This has been an idea bouncing around my brain for a couple months, if not a year, if not really like 20 minutes, because I'm straight off an energy drink, so my mind has been bouncing all around. But whoever's watching / listening, because this should be up as a podcast, welcome in. And yeah, I hope to keep you around. So it's really a blank slate here, or blank playing field. I really don't know what's up in the air, but I've got a couple things in mind. Really, well, first of all, you'll notice I'm in my car, because I've been really itching to get at this, and I was thinking, what would be a good background? What's, gonna make sure I have good quality, yada yada. And I'm like, that is true if this becomes a very, professional, this is what I want to do, this is my hobby, yada yada, whatnot. That's true, but I think just to really get on my feet, I need to just get something done, get something posted. So I was like, you know what, I'm in my car already, let me just get something done. But again, welcome in. So I should probably run down what's going on here. And I think there's a couple big ideas in my mind, but really I don't have like a set plan yet, and I don't see that as a bad thing. So in general, this is going to be just obviously a theme park oriented, other synonym podcast / videos / YouTube channel. Because I have a lot that I think about, and I don't have anywhere to put it other than, I think, the internet, because I talk to family and friends, but at a point they've got to get sick of it. So I need to put something out. But I thought I'd use this time to do a kind of personal introduction and my place in the scene, what I know about the scene, what I don't, what I think this channel / podcast could grow into. I think that's fair enough for a first episode. So I think right off the rip, let's get a little personal. I mean, if this were to really grow into something, I think I'd love to have an audience for myself, and they would come to me eventually because of my takes or like my insight or other people I talk to or whatnot. But I think really it stems down to learning me as a person. So I think I want to get some of that done right off the rip, right? You're only going to watch me and listen to me if you, A, don't hate my voice, and B, actually care about who I am, right? So, yeah, let's just rip off that Band-Aid. My name is Carter Fallon. I am 18, 19 a month from now, and I am a musical theater major in a college I probably won't name for sake of just reason, and I don't think there's reason to. I would say like safety. I don't feel unsafe saying it, but you know how people are. And yeah, that's kind of the half of it. And in terms of my brain, it's musical theater, or theater really in general here, and then the other half is all theme parks. But in terms of theater, yeah, that came to my life during high school. Really, I didn't see the beauty of live theater until a little bit into my high school career. And then just throughout the 4 years, it got more and more until my senior year. I really realized this is what I want to study and what I want my career to turn into. However, passion, well, that is a passion, but hobby-wise, theme parks also grew. So I'll talk about that next, I guess, my kind of history in the scene. But just recently, the past few months and years, I've really needed a spot, like I said, to put my takes into, because I don't know, it just circles my mind, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, of course, but I'm like, I feel like there's more to it than just my brain. I'm like, I want to put it somewhere for other people to hear if they care, which I hope they do. But I'll talk a little about my history, my place in the scene. First of all, I am in Wisconsin. So I'm nowhere near the big dogs, right? The Disney and the Universals and the, even like Cedar Point or stuff like that isn't that close. But I've been to a lot of them. So again, my kind of history is I'm blessed enough to, I'm lucky / blessed enough to have a family who's had a couple trips down there, right? I've only been to the California parks once, and that was Disneyland, California Adventure, and Universal, because there's only one park over there, right? And then Orlando-wise, I've been to all 4 of the Disney parks a couple times, enough to really have, like a real good feel for those parks. I'd say all 4 of them. And then Universal, I've been to Studios and Islands, also a couple times. And then just last year, I took my own trip with my buddies to Epic Universe in June, July-ish, when that opened. So it's still fairly new, which was just an insane experience. And then just other coaster kind of places wise, I'm close enough to Great America, the Six Flags park, and that's the only Six Flags I've been to. I'm planning to get to, now that they merged, Cedar Fair and whatnot, I'm meaning to get to Cedar Point this summer, and maybe the New Jersey one. What's that, Great Adventure, I think, and whatnot. And then also last summer I had gone to this random park in Iowa I was seeing, Lost Island. So in terms of park, that's it. Great America, Lost Island, the 4 Disney in Orlando, the 3 Universal in Orlando, and I think the 1 Universal in California, and the 2 Disney in California. So all that out of my head, I think that's a big part of this podcast / series that I am excited for, is that I don't know a ton. I think if I went up to someone random in my city or on the street, I'd know a lot more than the average person in terms of theme parks and thrill and all that jazz. But in general, there's a ton I don't know in history and things to come, and just knowledge in general. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of the rides, but I think there's a lot for me to learn. But at the same time, there's a lot I know that I just kind of want to get on the internet again. And it's personal stuff too. I have a lot of, I think, weird a lot of weird just takes that are solely my own. And it's so personal. And I'm like, I want more people to hear this. It's like, this is my own interpretation of the theme park game. So I think that's a fair amount of history on myself. Yeah, I have a bit of knowledge in the parks, but really I want to be able to gain an audience for this so that they can teach me stuff, or I can, tell them anecdotes or whatever. And yeah, that's my goal, at least for these first couple episodes, if all goes well and it's not just a little passion project that dies, is I want to gain some sort of personal audience that could grow into a bigger, what's the word? Vague? No, not vague. Yeah, a bigger audience that doesn't just care for me, that is like in the scene and wants to teach me stuff, I guess. But in these first few episodes, I just want to gain some sort of audience so we can connect. And that's a big thing in my head too, is connections. I'm like, while this is taking off, if it does, while it's growing, is I want to be able to connect with everyone I can, right? I mean, if you're here, I want you to be able to comment, hey, Carter, like, what's your take on this ride at this park? Or, we could talk about this together. Like, I'd be down for any sort of collaboration off the bat, right? I mean, I just want to talk to people. So I'd be down for comments of, hey, like, you sound stupid, get a script or get a routine. Or also, if people are like, hey, what is your take on this ride at this park? And I could talk about it for maybe a half hour or so, or more, wherever it leads me. I think my dream here is for it to be, like, I guess, a passion project. It's not that I plan on this being my job. There's theme park junkies who have this as their main source of income / job / career path, which of course nothing against. I mean, in a way that's the dream, right? Going to these parks, recording it, talking about it, and getting paid. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. However, I don't see this as, the first step in my career path. This is a really cool opportunity for me to get my thoughts onto the internet and for other people to hear them and, get back to me with their own, I guess. But I don't see this as, the first step in my career path, and I need to get this many followers and this many people to make this much money. It's just, I want to get stuff out there. I have other sources of income. I have a job. This is just for funsies. This is my my hobby in a way. So I don't know where I was really. What was I talking about? I just remembered also part of this is I am going to be part of the Disney College program in Orlando this fall semester. And I don't know what all I can say, but obviously I can say I'm going there. That's public knowledge at this point. But, and I don't know how much I'll be able to say when I'm down there in terms of my experience. But that's also part of this is I dream of gaining some sort of following before that, so I could, post about whatever I legally can during my experience and have an audience to be like, yeah, like cool, or, I didn't know this, or I did know this, you should do this, you should do that. I think I've stated it before, but, I think it really does stem from a personal place. I don't want an audience to watch me. Well, I guess I wouldn't mind, but, I don't expect an audience to watch me just because I'm Carter and I'm this age and I live here and I have this experience, that would be really cool. But I feel like naturally I want to gain a sort of audience just hearing my stuff and then being able to go back and watch other stuff and be like, wow, I really like this dude or whatever happens. But like I said before, I feel like I have such an interesting just view in the game where I have stake, right? I have stake in there, in that I've been to these parks a good number of times, and I'm very lucky to have been able to already this far into my life, which is pretty, soon. But I also have a ton to learn. So I think I'm at this really interesting place where this could take off as a hobby if, it gets to be financially, because this stuff is expensive. But I'm at this place where I know a lot, but there's so much more to learn. And I think if I really put this onto the internet as, hey, I'm this person and I want to learn this, and I get to go along on this ride with whatever audience I end up gaining, that's the dream, right? I mean, that's the passion that it's just burning me for the past couple months or year. It's just like I want to be able to do this kind of stuff and have an audience I can spit it right back to. I want people to be able to relate to me in a sense, but also I could be able to be approached by anyone, right? Anyone could come across my videos and understand who I am quickly, and also, where I am in the parks. And see in the next coming, I don't know, weeks, months, years, where I end up, right? I mean, what other parks I get to go to, whatever knowledge I learn, whatever stuff I've already hashed about, getting to talk about over and over. And like I've said before, conversations with other people. I mean, again, if whoever is watching this has any interest in me, just leave a comment. Even if it's, you don't want to talk to me, but even if it's just, hey, this is like cool, I hope you continue recording these. Or if it's, you suck and stop. I just want some sort of feedback, and I think I've already said it before because I'm really bad at repeating myself, but I would love if there were people who commented who were like, hey, I really want to talk to you about, what do you know about Disney's Hollywood Studios or whatever, I would be so down to start this off with connecting to my viewers. And then if an audience were to grow, it would be like, that's what happens on this channel, is I get to connect with random viewers. I mean, I don't know. I see this all as a really cool opportunity, and I think I'm at a time in my life where I need to jump on it, or I don't know if I will. After the college program, maybe I'll have so much Disney in my head I just don't even know where to start. But it's really been hitting me recently to where I'm like, I have a lot of knowledge, or not even knowledge, I have a lot of experience that I want to be able to put somewhere, which obviously is YouTube or wherever this podcast ends up. But also I have so much more to learn. And before I learn all that, I want to have somewhere to write it down, right? Write it down being, say it to you guys. But as I learn more and more and do more and more and just talk about it more and more, I want a place to put it so I can look back on it and be like, oh, that's my journey. So in terms of what all that entails, I don't really know yet. Like I've said, I could talk to people about rides, or just have episodes where I give whole history of myself in a ride and my take on it, or it could be covering theme park news, right? It could be what's coming, general audience feedback on a new attraction, or all of it combined. Like I've said before, I just want it to be personal. I want this to be my own journal of my kind of theme park life, and I really want people to be able to connect with me. And I don't care, their age, where they come from. Wait, that sounds bad. Of course, I don't care what their knowledge is, because it could be more or less than me. I just want to be able to have people that can relate to me in any kind of way, or can. And we just talk about what we don't relate on. That's as nice as relating to someone is not, and then starting to talk about these things that each other don't know anything about. So I think just for funsies, I'll get into kind of my favorite stuff in the theme park world, whether it be thrill or just rides, family stuff, just anything in the scene. I think it just gives a little more information about myself, kind of like I've been yapping about this whole time, is the personalness of it, but it's nice to have some foundation for yourself. So I think, without going super specific into my own history and first impressions and whatnot, I want to go over my top 3 rides, and this is everything included, which is, Disney, Universal, Six Flags, thrill, not thrill, just everything, just rides in general. I think my number 1 in the whole scene is Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man at Islands of Adventure. And again, I could end up doing episodes about these rides themselves, so I don't want to dig super deep into them, but I think that one tops my list as a mix of everything. I wouldn't call it thrilling, but with the weird way the cart moves up and down, left and right, spinning, and the water stuff, I wouldn't call it thrilling, but it's enough of an experience to be like, ooh, whew, when you get off, it's just like, that was actually cool. That wasn't just watching, screens, because it's not all just screens. There's enough mix. But speaking of, real live action stuff and thrill, that brings me to number 2, which is Hagrid's motorbike, whatever it is, mythical creatures motorbike adventure, whatnot, at Islands as well. Islands of Adventure in Orlando, because anyone who's been on that, or anyone who hasn't, who's read the articles, or anyone who hasn't read the articles and has talked to a theme park person, anyone even a centimeter into the scene just knows what a ride that is. And again, I've been to the park a couple times, but I can say without a doubt, in the same field as any other ride I've ridden, that's up there. That can't not be up there. If you ask any theme park head what's on their list, Hagrid's is going to be on there, and I think there's a million reasons I could dig into, but again, I could save that for the future. And for my number 3, which I didn't realize these are all at Universal in Orlando, which was I didn't realize that until now. That's not like a bias. Well, maybe it is. It's Monsters Unchained at Epic, which is still fairly new, of course, and I guess you could say it has recency bias, but it's now still been a year since I've ridden it, and I've rode or ridden other stuff since, and that still is like I miss it every day. And it kind of goes with the same thing as I was saying earlier. Anyone who's been on that ride or has talked about that ride is just, there's so much to talk about. Like, it is revolutionary for Universal's sake, and just for the whole theme park world. It's, again, thrilling enough to be like thrilling, but also, I don't know if you could call it a family ride, but it's definitely not, it's not terrifying. Like, it's horror, but in an entertainment way, kind of like, those old movies are, the Universal Monster movies. So on that note, I guess I'd probably say my favorite park that I've been to, that I know, would be Universal's Islands of Adventure, just because there's just so much. I mean, like I was saying, the mix of thrill and family stuff, the water rides there are top of the game. The theming between the Harry Potter stuff, the Marvel stuff, the Dr. Seuss stuff, which I don't know if people still talk about, but every time I walk through there, I'm like, I'm not a kid, but this is awesome. I mean, I was a Dr. Seuss kid, but still, this is like just cool. But I would say that's definitely my favorite park, all things considered. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I've taken up the last 20-ish minutes or so of your time, and I really appreciate anyone who's made it this far. Like I've said 1,000 times, I just want any sort of feedback, whether that is, Carter, like I want to talk to you specifically about this ride or this park or this idea, or if it's just, hey, I like this, I hope you plan on releasing more. Or if you don't comment, but you've watched this far and you left a like, it's just nice to know that there's someone out there watching. And if there's not, a couple more of these will probably come out, and maybe it'll die from there. Maybe it won't, maybe I'll get to really pursue this. But I really appreciate anyone who's made it this far. And again, just thank you for watching this much. Thank you for taking any time out of your day to watch me. I really hope we can make something special out of this, whoever's here. I think we can connect through this. And I'm really glad I'm finally getting somewhere to put all of my love for these parks out there. I'm really glad I have somewhere to put it, because these are, like I said earlier, this is half my life. I mean, not in a time way, because there's only been so many days I've been to these parks, but in like a love sense, like I said, it's live theater and it's theme parks, which have a weird enough mix, I think, psychologically. I mean, I'm not gonna get into like human emotion and pleasure and everyone talks about it, but dopamine, and there's some stuff to talk about there. I think they mix, but I'll leave it at that. And again, thank you for watching this much. Let me know if this is something you guys would be into, or if I sound like insane right now and I'm just repeating myself and I can't speak. So again, thank you, whoever you are, for watching this far. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And I hope to see you in the next one, because there will be some next ones, right? I hope to see you again. And that'll be it. Thanks for watching.